Now, I don't use a lot of filters, and filters for me kind of fall into one of three categories. You've got essential, you've got useful, and you've got fun. Now, there's not a lot in the essential category because the vast majority of effects that filters create can be replicated in post-production, but that's not the case with a circular polarizing filter. Once that light hits that sensor, there's no going back and bending those light waves like a circular polarizer does in order to make them cut through reflections and such as that. Now, in the useful category, we have all of your ND filters, neutral density filters, which come in the form of solid NDs, variable NDs for video, graduated NDs for doing the whole landscape thing. A variable ND is very useful for video, for maintaining that 180-degree rule, keeping your shutter speed at twice that of your frame rate and allowing for very natural looking motion blur. But you can still shoot video without a VND. You just have to crank down your aperture and bump up your shutter speed and keep your ISO very low. And you can maintain a correct exposure, but your motion blur will look a little bit funky. The fun category is for filters that are, well, fun. Diffusion filters and streak filters and starburst filters and all that kind of stuff. That's where this stuff goes. Now, the filter kit that Freewell just sent me has all three of these categories covered. It's a 3-to-7 stop VND, a CPL Hybrid V2, and they sent me a 1/4 snow mist filter, and it's just all magnets and good times. It's a simple case of connecting the magnetic base ring to your lens, loosen those finger screws to remove the rear cap, and boop, magnet straight on there, and then tighten those finger screws to secure the filter, and then remove your front cap and you're good to go. To dial in your CPL, you simply need to loosen those finger screws again and turn that filter to taste, and then tighten those finger screws down to secure it once again, and that leaves you free to move the front of the lens to dial in your variable ND. If you're choosing to use the snow mist filter with this kit, it is simply a case of magnets again. Magnets, man. Oop, there we go. And if you want to use the snow mist filter on its own, simply remove the CPL VND Hybrid, turn around the snow mist filter, and that screws directly onto that base ring. So in this one kit, we have the essential CPL, the useful variable ND filter, and the extremely fun snow mist filter. And I say extremely fun because I've already been out and shot with it at night. It's fun. Today I'm keeping it dead simple with the gear. It's just going to be the GH5, the 12-to-60 and this filter up front, and I'm going to shoot all of the B-roll and all of the photos with this setup, including this bit. So my plan for using this kit on the streets for some photography is quite a simple one. First and foremost, and most importantly in my opinion, I'm going to use the snow mist filter because I've never used one of these things in the daytime. I did go out last night and got some nighttime shots, and it looks like fun. I know I like these diffusion filters, but this one, the snow mist, it's like the grain is a little bit rougher, it looks cool, and at night it really does create a quite intense effect. So I'm hoping today, the light's pretty flat, so I'm hoping it sort of maybe gives a little bit of atmosphere to the shots. Next up, I'm going to use the CPL. I'm going to try and get some, cut through some window reflections and stuff like that, get some shots that way. And then I'm going to use the whole thing together, do some long exposures, and just have some fun. Because honestly, if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. So far, I'm not actually seeing much in the way of subjects, so I'm going to keep looking. Of course, right as I start to do my next bit, the church bells start ringing. Because why not?
Right, so if you're unaware of what a polarizing filter actually does, this is the reflection from a window, and if I start to turn the polarizing filter, as you can see, it starts to reveal quite clearly what is at the other side and eliminating that reflection. Very handy if you're shooting things like this, or shooting water, or anything like that.
So that was it. One picture. 5 hours, one cappuccino, one cup of Earl Grey, and one bang average picture. Let's talk about variable NDs. So as I mentioned in the intro, we use something called the 180-degree rule for video to allow for natural looking motion blur. As you can see, this kind of looks like normal kind of stuff, and that's because I've got my shutter speed at twice that of my frame rate, which is, you know, what allows this natural looking movement. Now, if I just tweak things just a second, so if I just do that, and then if I get rid of that 180-degree thing, you can see that the motion is all kind of jerky and weird and action cam-ish. And that's why we use a VND, to allow things to look more natural and, well, I guess less cheap, I suppose. Now, in photography, we use NDs for slightly different reasons. It's usually to control the amount of light, or to control the shutter speed of our images if we want to do like long exposures and stuff like that. But also, a lot of cameras, in fact, many sort of standard cameras don't go above 1/4000th of a second. So if you want to do anything with a shallow depth of field in bright midday sun, you're going to have a hard time without using an ND of some sort. Right, so today, I chose to come out today because the light was utter garbage when I was out last time, which was like 3 days ago, I think. But today's light is awesome. It's early morning, so I've got some misty haze business going on. Everything looks fantastic. We've still got some of the autumn colour kicking about. So I'm going to put this kit to use and see what sort of images we can get. Okay, I remember this path from the last time I was here, and I said then I wanted a photograph of it, and the light now is just so good. Right, so we've got this path. It is completely covered with this really vibrant green moss. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. Now, I've got that coming in pretty much center at the bottom of the frame, and it guides you through the frame to the sort of right-hand third. I've got the ND filter on there, set to 3 stops because we've got that bright harsh light just out of frame in the top right corner. I've got the CPL spun round just to take the edge off of these tree trunks here, and then I'm also going to use the snow mist filter, because if you just look in this part of the frame here as I apply the snow mist filter, you see it kind of just softens everything up and looks absolutely awesome. Now I'm going to take this shot both landscape and portrait, so let's get on with it. All right, I've got that image and I think it looks pretty damn good. So thanks very much to Freewell for sending me out this kit. If you are interested in these filters, there is a link in the description below. And thank you all for watching this long, because this video was absolutely all over the place. I'll see you in the next one.